sky. Put that fiber in your waist. Drink that water every day. Exercise, energize. Strength and tone at your own pace. Get low, get low, get low. Get low. On the carbs, on the carbs. Get high, get high, get high. Get high. Take the protein to the sky. Low carb queen is here to stay. Do weight loss in your own way. Just watch the carbs that intake. Throw that processed food away. Yeah, yeah. Get low, get low, get low. Get low. On the carbs, on the carbs. Get high, get high, get high. Get high. Take the protein to the sky. Yeah, get low, 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 get low. On the carbs. Yeah, get low, 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 get low. On the carbs. Yeah, yeah. Get low, get low, get low. Take the protein to the sky. Get low, get low, get low, get low. Get low, get low, get low. Get low, get low, get low, get low. Get high, get high, get high. Get high. Take the protein to the sky. Get high, get high, get high. Get high. Take the protein
Okay.
to the sky. Put that fiber in your waist. Drink that water every day. Exercise, energize. Strength and tone at your own pace. Get low, get low, get low. Get low. On the carbs, on the carbs. Get high, get high, get high. Get high. Take the protein to the sky. Low carb queen is here to stay. Do weight loss in your own way. Just watch the carbs that intake. Throw that processed food away. Yeah, yeah. Get low, get low, get low. Get low. On the carbs, on the carbs.
Hey guys, how y'all
Get
doing?
high, get high,
I am fiddle faddling around.
get
Give me 1 second.
high. Take the protein to the sky. Yeah, get low, 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 get low. On the carbs. Yeah, get low, 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 get low. On the carbs. Yeah, get low, get low, get low. Take the protein to the sky.
Hey guys, how are you doing? Thank you for coming in. I appreciate you so much. I was playing around with Restream and trying to do the vertical and the horizontal at the same time, but they put it all on one screen. Thank you to Bossway for helping me with that. And so I've been playing with that all afternoon, and it still didn't turn out right. But we will press our way nonetheless. Hey, thank you for coming in, Kendi K. How you doing? So glad to have you in the building. Geraldine, so glad to have you in the building. Stella, Aulette, so glad to have you in the building. A little tongue tied. So I'm in my little studio area. I didn't want to disturb the girls because usually I'm downstairs on Wednesday nights. And if you're new here, my name is Kim. I am on a weight loss journey. I'm on Mounjaro 12.5. Been on 12.5 for a while now. I've lost between 80 and 90 pounds, half with Mounjaro, half without. And this is my 60th week currently. So the next video I will put out will be my 60th week on Mounjaro. So um, yeah, I'm down with, like I said, with Mounjaro, close to 50 pounds in in 1 year. So I wanted to talk about protein and chronic kidney disease, not so much more of, you know, how we can put stress on our kidneys, and that might be one thing that develops, and it's important for me to talk about it. For, in my opinion, it's important to talk about it being on the GLP-1. So first of all, I'm not a doctor, a nurse practitioner, a dietitian. I'm none of that. I'm just a person on my weight loss journey, using medication and trying to discover what's best for me in this process, because we know that everybody's process is different, everybody's system is different. you know, we are all united, but still at the same time unique. Okay. Thank y'all so much for coming in. I appreciate you so much. Let me get over here. Y'all know when I turn this way, I'm on my computer. Let's see what's going on. Mia, so glad to see you in the building. I started a keto diet. Only 0 to 20 carbs, down to 12.5 dose, new protocol. I've been learning to help get me on the lowest possible effective dose. Oh, that's good. That is good. Congratulations. El Lewis, how are you? So glad to have you in the building. Okay, the boss way. Thank you. Thank you for sticking with me, because I was like, let me get out of here before everybody start coming in and I really don't know what I'm doing. Playing around with that restream. But I do like it. People are speaking. So glad that y'all are in here. Doses of Shani was in the last one. I don't know if she's back, but we did see her on the talk show with Kendi K, sharing some great knowledge and information and expertise as an RN. Appreciate that. Then I went over there to Paul and watched her a little bit over there. And one thing that I heard her say, you hear all of this stuff, you hear different lives, and you see different videos of people talking about their journey. And as the old folks used to say, you eat the meat and you spit out the bones. You can, of course, take in what's for you. But one thing I heard her say was, she said, I'm a macros person. And, we know about macros. We talk about macros, calories, nutrition, fiber, protein. We talk about all of that. But when she said that, that sort of, put like a bulb somewhere in my brain. And so I wanted to understand, what she was saying, my interpretation of what she was saying when she said I'm a macros person. And so for me, that meant that she sticks to whatever percentages her macros are set to. So in the next couple of days, that's been, making me look at that and be mindful of that even more. It's so much good information out here. Let's see. Mia says, I can't stay, but I wanted to talk to you about it. But I have my class with Coach Mean now. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you're here. You're here. I'm glad you stopped by. I appreciate you so much. Guys, you're on the real keto, because keto is 20 carbs or less, period. And some of you know I changed my name from keto queen to low carb queen because I was not able to stick to it. People are speaking. Uh, Getting off my highest dose has become more important to me after I saw how easy it is to lose coverage through a recent event a coworker went through. Yeah, that coverage is a real thing. I'm very grateful. Hey, Doses of Shani, how are you? Thank you for coming back. I was just talking about you when you were saying that you were a macros person, macros girl, and I picked that up. Like, okay, she focuses on the macros. I'm gonna look into that. The book is Fast, Feast, and Flourish by Dr. Dean Jones. If you want to check it out, definitely good info from Shani. Oh, okay. Okay, I didn't see that part. I will definitely. I'm almost finished with Beautiful I'm Colors book. I have literally been reading that book and it's really, really good. You know, as they say, you don't know my story. And so I have enjoyed reading her book. Hi, almost healthy, skinny, shiny. She definitely is over there doing it. Grant, so glad to have you in the building. Great to see you. I appreciate you so, so much. So, again, I wanted to talk a little bit about understanding kidney stress, understanding protein. I mean, I'm learning so many things, like I said, and thank God you're never too old to learn. I mean, if you want to talk about marriage, you want to talk about education, you want to talk about raising children, I'm all in and I have a lot to say. But this eating for nutritional purposes and for health purposes is, I'm not going to say it's new, but just trying to change these habits intentionally is definitely new. I can remember being in college, I was just like a health guru, that's when they sold granola on the trucks in bags, and we trusted the people that prepared it. I used to buy granola like that. And, I wasn't even on a health journey. I was just on a all natural Afro, type journey. And so that was part of it. But then, getting married, having children, and all of that, that changed that. No, nevertheless, my desire for eating for pleasure has had once taken over. And so now I'm trying to get back. But I had been, let me see. Mia says, yes, I didn't realize that was an issue for you, Queen, but I totally agree with Shani on macros. The book is my new protocol, not Shani's. Oh, okay. All right. I should have taken a screenshot. I'm going to go back up and take a screenshot of the name of that book. But let's see. Let's see. Sorry, I didn't write that clearly. I am learning how all kinds of things work, but you got the right. You have that right. You got that right. So it's hard to stay on keto. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying. You got that right. Yes. It's hard. Keto is difficult. I went to a class and everything. Linda, so glad to have you in the building. How are you? I appreciate you for coming in. Everybody is speaking to everybody. And so, like I said, learning about protein and because I was just focusing on low carbs. That was, keto was the big thing. And, you could lose weight quickly on keto. And, you could do low carbs. Anything without a lot of carbs was has been trending. Let me put it that way. But recently, when I started focusing on protein, and I talked about that previously, my body started swelling. I started getting inflammation, and I was really concerned about that, like what's going on. And if you guys, some of you know, some of you don't, initially, before I did Mounjaro, a couple of years before that, I was on Ozempic. And I was doing well. Like I said, I lost about 40 something pounds, gained half of it back when I got off, because my doctor had said to me, we're going to have to watch your kidney levels. You're doing good, but we have to watch your kidney levels. Your kidney levels are lowering. And so I got so scared. I was just like, no. Mm-mm. So I stopped taking Ozempic. But I didn't know then what I know now about weight loss, about nutrition, about protein, about all of that. I mean, I'm still just learning, believe it or not, all the connections, learning that, eating for real is a science. In my humble opinion, it's a science to eat nutritionally. And even though people were saying, like drink more water, drink more water, drink more water. Yeah, okay, I'm drinking more water. And initially, my understanding is, okay, you want to drink more water, your body is going to flush out the waste, through urine, through, the other parts, through sweat. But it still wasn't registering. I have one of my daughters who decided to go back to school and take up a new career. She's going back to school for nursing. And so she's all in, okay? Nursing, everything she learns, she talks about. So I tried to get her to come on with me. Let me check the chat. But in in talking to her, listening to people, and of course talking to Thor, my friend Thor, learning that everything that you eat flushes through your kidneys. Everything you eat. That I had not processed that information. That every single thing I eat, except for fat, goes through your kidneys. Okay, and so when it goes through your kidneys, fat does not go through your kidneys, which is why it's stored on us. But everything goes through your kidneys. So, in order to keep your kidneys working, they have to be flushed, which means you have to drink a lot of water. It makes sense, okay? But I'm telling you, the connection between the two was not there for me. And so, I'm drinking more water, as people said, but it still wasn't registering. Don't forget, you can type in protein to share your channel. People are still speaking. And so, I'm sure many of you had that understanding, but that didn't register. I'm such a literal person. And so, like I said, the idea of, okay, you need to drink water because you need to flush everything that you're eating. It needs to be flushed. And now with our system being slowed down through the GLP medication, it makes sense that you even have to drink more water, okay? So that, what's in you doesn't stay there for real. Of course, you have to have the fiber to help flush it, but you absolutely need more water. I've been proud of myself trying to get through two of these a day, but I really need to do three, if the truth be told, after going through the research and looking at the things that I've been looking at when it comes to protein and and kidney stress, which can lead to chronic kidney disease. And remember, your girl is not a doctor. Not at all. Okay, so let me get over here. Let me see what's going on in the chat in a second. Every time I get on here, my voice tries to go. Excuse me. And so the question for me was, am I taking in too much protein, like I said previously, and too much processed protein? Okay. The protein bars, the protein shakes, you know, the protein powders. Anytime you take on, for me, anytime you're taking on that amount of protein and that type of protein, then that is going to make our kidneys work even the more, you know? It's going to cause them to work even the more when we take on that type of stuff. And so by virtue of us taking on that type of stuff, we need to do what? We need to absolutely, absolutely drink water. No ifs, no ands, or no buts about it. And I'm not telling y'all anything that you don't already know. But especially if you're on a high protein, you know, because the inflammation is a sign that there's a problem, that it could possibly be a kidney problem. Okay. And not, I'm not creating any diagnosis. I'm just saying, for me, I have to drink more water because my kidneys need it. They absolutely need it. All right, let me see what's going on in the chat, and let me get over here. Ooh, the chat. Let's see what y'all saying. I'm way up in here. People are speaking. Okay, don't forget you can type in protein. Yes, I remember you talking about that, the boss way, drinking a lot of water, but not over the amount the doctor and the dietitian says. Absolutely. Absolutely. And how much do they tell you to drink, Harjarine? But not too much water. You can cause your kidneys to overwork. Okay. But what's worse, Shawnee, what's worse? Too much water or not enough water? We definitely have to have a balance, and that's what we're trying to get, a true balance. But is it better? Not necessarily better. Like I said, what's worse? Too much water or not enough? Let's see. Mia says, yes, I have bladder prolapse, so I cannot do the amount of water some of you do. Some of you GLP-1 soldiers do. Prolapse, what's that? Bladder prolapse? What's that? Okay, so protein, they want you at 70 grams of protein. Yeah, see. And, of course, everybody's like, protein, protein, protein. I even did a little chart for the amount of protein for, your average weight. And even when I put, like into my fitness pal, first of all, trying to lose this last 9.5 to 10 pounds, I lowered my calorie intake from 1850 a day to 1500. The diet that chat gave me, the high protein diet that they gave me, actually had me at about 1300. It was 1280 to be exact. And the first couple of days, I was starving, GLP-1 or not. I was hungry. Okay, took my shot on Sunday. I was hungry before Sunday because I technically started on Saturday. And I was hungry, took my shot on Sunday, trying to follow the plan that chat gave me. I was still hungry. So I was like, okay, I'm about to crash and burn. So I need to figure out something. So I upped like I said, the calorie intake to 1500, which would automatically send the carbs, the protein, and the fat up. It would automatically increase that. So I think they had me at 100 for right now. And that's a lot, but I'm learning that, and I know that carbs aren't a bad thing, but I'm definitely learning that, it's definitely not a super bad thing. Let's see. Geraldine says, I drink 120 ounces and I was told I drink too much, flushing my nutrients out. Okay. Well, my dietitian and nurse practitioner want me to drink 65 ounces. So that's two of these, definitely two of these. But I don't know. I feel like I should drink a little bit more. And I'm not the dietitian or the doctor. I just want to make sure my kidneys are not even flushed. That's probably the wrong word. But not being overworked by the processed food that I might have been eating. And that right there is another key. The amount of whole foods that we eat would help a lot of this. A lot of, what we're talking about. And I don't know how much processed food that people are eating that is high protein or just low carbs or whatever the case may be. Shawnee says, this is why it's best for you to decide on an amount of water that is suggested for you individually. Absolutely, with your healthcare professional. Absolutely. I totally and completely agree because, like I said in the beginning, everybody is different. Everybody's journey is different. Everybody's doctor is different. I was talking to a friend of mine, and his doctor was telling him one level of your A1C was considered diabetic, and what my doctor was saying was about a point and a half to a point lower than what his doctor was telling him. So even the doctors might differ. So you do have to do absolutely what's best. I still love the idea of having these types of conversations because what it has done for me when I've listened in on the different conversations that are in the GLP-1 community, whether by video or by live, it has helped me become more aware. It has helped me to ask more questions, and it has helped me to do more research. And of course, it's like when you see something or hear something, especially for me, if it's important to me, I can't unsee it or unhear it. Just like Shawnee, when you said I'm a macros person, you know, okay, it's one thing to look at the macros, but it's another thing to, you know, um, guide your diet by the macros. And it all ties in, but if you're focusing on protein and you might hit the protein goal of the macros, but you might not hit the, fat goal. If you go over the protein goal, you might feel okay about it. But what I heard from you is I stick to the macros. Okay, let's see. Okay, the boss way says 3 liters. Shawnee says if your kidney function is already low, too much will worsen the levels. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. That was, when I was on Ozempic, and probably because I wasn't drinking enough water, because I had no understanding of, this whole process. I was definitely doing keto and I was definitely on Ozempic, and I definitely had a loss of appetite. And, she was saying, you're doing good, but we just have to watch your kidney levels. And so the minute she said that, I let it go. I let keto go. I let Ozempic go. And I gained back half of that weight. I was, struggling, trying not to gain the whole thing. But I was like, nope, not doing it. Not doing it. So Mia says, I need to have my bladder tied. Oh my gosh. When they do my hysterectomy coming up this year. Woo! Mercy. Mercy. Let's see. Shawnee says it's situational. I don't give blanket statements because many will take that info and apply it to their own situation. I would have to know your health history and all your labs before I could tell. Absolutely. And you're coming from that professional POV. Absolutely. And all of us are intelligent enough to know not to take this information at face value, I would hope, especially if we say, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a nurse practitioner. I'm just a person on my journey, my GLP-1 journey. That's who we are, and that's what we do in this community. And like I said, for me, I eat the meat and spit out the bones. I take in, okay, you should increase your protein, you know, but don't increase it too much. Go check with the dietitian, go check with the nurse practitioner. And of course, if you're having side effects, then you definitely have to check it. Let's see. Which would be best for you? We have to deal with ourselves individually. Absolutely. Okay, you talking about the blanket statements about whether or not too much water or not enough water. Absolutely. Let's see. The Bossway says, I am at stage 2 as of March 4th. Okay, you're at stage 2 with the chronic kidney disease. Absolutely. There are so many variables that play a part. Absolutely. Hey, Vanessa, how are you? So glad to have you in the building. So glad to have you. Yes, indeed. People are speaking. Shani says, it's definitely great to have these conversations. It's just many don't do their own research and take what they hear someone say on here and can be harming themselves. Now that's sad. That's That's sad. I'm sorry to say that's sad. That's for me as an educator. That's what, and as a mother, that's why when my children were young, I would protect them from what they watched because I didn't want them to be influenced. But as adults, it's a whole different picture. We are responsible for ourselves. We absolutely are. And so I don't, maybe you know people personally that have taken this information in and harmed themselves. I don't know anybody personally from YouTube who has taken this information in and harmed themselves, but maybe you do. So maybe that's a trigger for you or it's touchy for you, but it's just conversation. That's what it is. It's just conversation and possible awareness for you to go back and check with your doctor, dietitian, and nurse practitioner. That's what it is. Jolene says, my daughter-in-law, a intensive care physician, had to have a kidney removed at 33. She never liked drinking water. Yeah, yeah. Now I do know people that don't like drinking water, and it's the struggle. Yes, yes, we do. Vanessa, we absolutely want to hear a miracle. Absolutely. We absolutely want to hear a miracle. Yes, indeed. And we also have to be careful and mindful, even when we I know I do, when I do research with chat, because sometimes chat is wrong. Just because it's an algorithm, sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes it'll tell you what you want to hear. Sometimes I'll ask it for research based information. If I'm looking for information, I just won't ask. Sometimes I just won't ask it for information. I said, go out there and find me some research based information. Let's see. Linda says you have to watch protein intake and sodium, yes, and potassium. I also have chronic kidney disease. I was advised to drink 64 ounces a day, no more than 70. So again, sounds like your doctor and the Bossway's doctor are on the same page with the information that they're giving you. And that's a real question and concern, to be honest with y'all. For me, I mean, anybody who's on the GLP-1 might want to make sure that they have a kidney check, because is that going to be the outcome years from now as to one of the side effects of being on the GLP-1 CKD? I mean, it's a valid question and a valid conversation, for real. And asking our doctors to check our kidneys while on this medication is a real thing. It's an absolute real thing. Let's see. The chat is hot. I love it. Okay, let's see. The Bossway says, Kim, off topic. I am taking a pill called Quellbri. One of the side effects is decrease in appetite. Okay. I have BED, and my psych said this should help me with it. And so far, it's absolutely working. Okay. That's good. I don't know what BED is, but listen, my doctor gave me something one time. It was called Topiary. and I think that's what it was called. And the side effect was loss of appetite. Okay. But the topiary was for migraines, and I did not have migraines, And when I looked it up, I went back to her and said, "Why did you give me this? I don't have migraines." And it definitely was a loss of appetite, but it just, it made you feel so like laid back, so to speak. I didn't want to take it. Okay, you're not hearing the food noise or having cravings. That's good. And what dose are you on right now, the Bossway? Because I'm on 12.5, and yeah, I can eat right through it. Linda says yes. So it depends on your doctor's advice. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Most people's kidney functions decrease due to diabetes. Yes. And hypertension, not due to lack of water. It's all the meds. You know what? I read that. And I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked, Shani. You know your stuff, okay? Yes. And so I was shocked. I did not know that the medication, the hypertension, the diabetes, the sugar, all of that is working on the kidneys. Absolutely. That's so important. I'm going to read that again. Most people's kidney function decrease due to diabetes and hypertension, not due to lack of water. Absolutely. Okay, here's the miracle. My older sister had both of her kidneys removed. They said she could not live long just with being on dialysis, but God proved them wrong. She lived 10 years with no kidneys. Yes, that's a miracle. Praise God for that. That is an absolute miracle. Absolutely. My best friend is a nurse, and she worked in dialysis. People can live a long time on dialysis. She works in New York. She works, up in New York. And that's probably my longest friend. We've been friends she was in the 8th grade and I was in the 10th grade. And yeah, she is a RN up in New York. So anytime I have some RN questions, I can definitely call her. Linda said a lot of fruits and vegetables have high potassium. Yes, we do have to watch the potassium. And now I can reach out to you, Shani, for real. Alonda, hey, so glad to have you in the building. Alonda said, agreed. My kidney doctor told me to also have no more than 70 ounces of fluids per day. I was at 100 ounces. Yes, okay. Check with your doctors, please. Yes, absolutely. As a lot of people, just like they're saying, boost up on the protein, and boost up on the water. People were saying literally to drink half of the amount of your weight in water. Do y'all remember people saying that? So if you're 100 pounds, you're supposed to drink 50 ounces of water. My goodness, I'm drinking 65 ounces, and I'm definitely not 175 or whatever, 185 pounds. Yes, let's see. Shani says, I so agree with you. Please don't take me wrong. No, I'm not. I'm not saying these conversations aren't needed. I'm just saying some don't seek professional advice and should. Listen, I get it. And guess what? You are passionate about what you do. And that is kudos to you. I get it. I respect you. I get it. Because trust me, I know exactly what you're saying. When people start talking about education and it's casual conversation, my professional mode is going to go in, my jargon, my all of that. So I get exactly what's going on. I do. And I appreciate the dialogue. And you are, again, coming from an RN, a place of RN. So no, I'm definitely not. I'm not taking it the wrong way. I would hope that all of the adults that we know in the GLP-1 community, and people who will watch this, who will watch the replay, and people who have never subscribed to my channel who might watch this. Check with your doctor, please. Check with your dietitian, please. We are having dialogue as we discover the pros, the cons, the ins and outs, the goods, the bad, and the ugly of the GLP-1. It's new to us, it's new to the doctors. You know, some doctors will titrate you up on request, some doctors won't. You know, some doctors will titrate you up and you don't want to titrate up. So everybody is learning. And so it is good dialogue. But at the end of the day, please check with your doctor and your dietitian. Oh, got you. Got you. Okay. Okay, let's see. Vanessa said, then she got a kidney transplant and she is still alive. She had a polycystic kidney. She had polycystic kidney disease. Well, listen, we thank God. We thank God for the miracle. That's when, I mean, we already know God is real, but that's when you know. When man says, okay, you cannot live without your kidneys. Okay? You're not going to live long on dialysis without your kidneys. But God proves man wrong. Okay? That's it right there. With man, it's impossible, but with God, it's possible. Period and point blank. Thank God for her, Vanessa. Thank God for you. That's a blessing. Okay, so your doctor, the Bossway, took you down to 10 milligrams. Okay. Yeah. As much as I want to titrate up, I have such mixed emotions about it. Okay, Jolene says she has that also, binge eating disorder. She could absolutely take me down to 7.5 like she wants to. Yeah. Linda is agreeing with you, Shani. Absolutely. People are speaking. That's a blessing, Vanessa. Vanessa says it would not have taken her so long to receive transplant, but she kept on having heart issues, so they denied her many times. Well, thank God. Thank God she got that transplant. We know everything is going to work out well. Hey, Alonda, she said, hey, hope everyone is doing great grocery shopping. Yes, appreciate you. Appreciate you being here. Today is a good day, Alonda. I hope the same for you. Yeah, our weather is so bipolar right now. It was warm one day, cold one day, and it was like in the middle today. Excuse me. I have to sneeze. Sorry. Never really learned how to sneeze that well. The day is going well, no complaints. Thank you for understanding. I teach these topics daily. So yes, I'm just passionate. Absolutely. Absolutely. And not only passionate, but compassionate, because you don't want people to, get the wrong information, understandably so. I get that. I absolutely get it. Auntie Mama is in the building. So glad to have you in the building. I appreciate you. People are speaking positive tea. So glad to have you here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. People are speaking. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody is speaking to everybody. I'm trying to get down to the bottom of the chat. So yes, when we talk about the chronic kidney disease, the kidney stress, of course, we want to just find ways to continue to be safe when it comes to our kidneys. And people talk about you could flush your kidneys, that type of thing. My understanding, and please chime in, is that you don't need to flush your kidneys. There's no type of organic, anything that can allow you to flush your kidneys. You just need to eat healthy. And that's the bottom line. This body that we have, and I think about myself, how I've been treating it for so many years unknowingly. Ignorance is still not an excuse, but literally just kind of taking it for granted. And now I'm trying to play catch up, trying to learn how to eat right, learn how to, develop great habits of a balanced meal, not to over snack, or the binge eating disorder, whatever the case may be. I'm trying to learn, and I'm saying I haven't been diagnosed with that, but I could definitely sit at a computer and munch for a long time. So I don't know what the symptoms are. But the first thing, one of the things we want to do is we do want to hydrate. Remember to stay hydrated, and that's so important. And I wasn't a person that liked to drink water. Listen, my drink of choice was Pepsi for a long time. Pepsi, okay. Another thing is to eat kidney friendly foods. A lot of the green vegetables, and again, you can get all kinds of stuff from your dietitian, you know, um, to tell you what to eat and what not to eat. Because a lot of, for a while people were on the kale, and then we found out kale was not so good for us, particularly for women. And so you have got to, just watch what you do and be intentional about what you do. Let's see. So berries, leafy greens, garlic, onions, olive oil, and low sodium. Sodium is a biggie. Is a biggie. Okay. Let's see. This was I don't know if this was in the US. I think this was in another country. I wanted to share this with y'all, but I might put it in a video. The Supreme Court was asking the FSSAI to consider warning labels for packaged foods high in sugar, salt, and saturated fat. I think our maximum per day is 23 milligrams on salt, and that's a lot. To me, that's a lot, but who am I? Let me get back over to the chat and see what's going on, because I'm just going through my. Let's see. Oh, the chat is jumping. My goodness. Let's see. People are speaking. Speaking. Remember, you can type in protein to share your channel. If you're a channel member, you can type in member. Grant is a channel member. Did I miss somebody? Grant is a channel member, and he is on my website for this month. Latanya me. This is an interesting topic. I will check this with my doctor. Definitely check. People are speaking in the chat. I appreciate y'all being here. Let's see. The Bossway says, yes, because oranges, ground beef, salmon are foods that are on my list to have in moderation. See? Yeah. And so we just have to be mindful of that. I'm big on not so much oranges, but tangerines. Let me make sure that is that coming up right when you type in member? It should come up. Let's see. People are speaking. Also, pain medicines, yes, can affect your CKD, especially over-the-counter meds. Yes, I heard Shani say that the other day. She was saying, if you take ibuprofen, anything that, I guess that we do in excess can become an error. Okay. People are typing in. Auntie Mama, you're headed over to Bible study. All right. Glad you could be here. Glad you could be here. I appreciate you coming in. So let me make sure. Let me make sure what's going on here. Let me get back over to my commands. We've got get low. You can type that in. Um, oh, okay. I'm sorry. I said it wrong. If you're a channel member and you're a king or queen, if you're a queen, you type in queen for channel members. And if you're a channel member and you're a guy, you type in king. Yes, that's how it goes. I had to make sure. So somebody try that for me and type that in. Let's see what we get. All right. So again, the truth about kidney cleanses, there's no drink, no tea, no 7-day cleanse that is going to flush your kidneys. Okay, God has already designed our kidneys to do that every single day. Your kidneys filter your blood, remove waste, and balance fluids automatically. Okay, so instead of asking, how do I clean my kidneys? We should be asking, am I making my kidneys work too hard? That's the question we should be asking ourselves. Protein is important for weight loss, but too much protein creates waste, and your kidneys have to filter that out. So it's just, it's just being balanced. And I don't know how much too much, would be. Again, you would have to ask your doctor about those things. This is coming again for those of you who just coming in, this is coming from a place where I was increasing my protein, but I was increasing it, but I was also increasing it with processed foods. And so I began to get a lot of inflammation. And so I'm trying to, like backtrack and say, okay, what's the problem? Where's this inflammation coming from? Because I'm trying to do things right and it's coming out wrong. So of course, I'm going to start looking to try to see, what's going on, doing some research, all of the above, to try to figure out why my my legs, ankles, and feet are swelling. Auntie Mama says, thank you for sharing the wonderful information. Do you know I need this information for you? Do. Yes. Listen, but check with your doctor. Okay. Jolene says, my doctor, so true, Linda. My doctor checks often. I must have missed something. I must have missed what Linda said. Yeah, check with your doctor, people, please. Check with your doctors always, okay, on any of the information that's being given out. High sodium raises blood pressure. Shani said that high blood pressure damages kidneys over time. I did not know that. I did not know. I just didn't know that. That's crazy. Let's see, support for your kidneys, lemon water when you do drink water, cranberries, herbal teas. This is stuff that I'm sure y'all know. These do not detox the kidneys. It's just something that we need to do. Yep, and they said here about 64 ounces, and so everybody is on that same thing, about 64 ounces. And try to use different spices instead of salt. That's my goal. I mean, I don't really eat a lot of salt because I used to eat a lot of salt, but I don't eat as much as I used to. The Himalayan sea salt is supposed to be better for you. Everybody is on the Himalayan sea salt kick. I am too. But honestly, I don't really know the difference between the regular Morton salt and the Himalayan sea salt. It's supposed to be better. So if it's supposed to be better, that's why we buy it. Maybe that's what Shawty was saying. Like, okay, Himalayan sea salt is supposed to be better. So we run out, we buy Himalayan sea salt. But why? Why is it better? Okay, so we have to be mindful of these things. Okay, let's see. Jerlene says, non-scale victory, A1C from 6.9 to 5.4 as of last week. Yes. That is beautiful. Woo, that's another miracle. Bless God. Yes, indeed. The boss way says, yes, I have neither problem. No high blood pressure, no diabetes. Yeah, and I've had high blood pressure for a while, a long time. And it's so crazy because I always thought, okay, well, diabetes is worse than high blood pressure. Like high blood pressure is bad, but diabetes is worse because diabetes, it just comes in and it just takes over. That runs in my family, and people have lost limbs. And so it's bad. I have a young cousin now, and he had to have both his legs amputated, and he's younger than 50. Yeah, he's in his 40s. And so, but it started with the toes, all of that. So diabetes is always just like so like. But on the other hand, my grandmother on my dad's side, she had diabetes ever since I was a kid. She used to give herself the needle. And she lived into being her 80s, but she was very disciplined. When she ate, she was not overweight in any way, shape, or form. So I always just thought like, okay, well, diabetes is worse. I don't, I've gotten rid of that generational curse, blah, blah, blah. And so that's why when 2025 hit and I started this weight loss journey, and I was arguing with my doctor because it's always been pre-diabetic, you're pre-diabetic. And I'm like, I don't accept that. I'm either diabetic or I'm not, okay? I'm not pre anything, okay? Because if I'm pre, then that means I'm not, okay? So, and I get it, it's a warning, but so then when my numbers hit past 6, she was like, okay, listen, you're diabetic. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let you say that so I can get this medication. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let you, it's on my chart, and we're gonna run with it. So we have to be mindful. We have to be mindful of things, in our family. Let's see. Great news, Jerlene. Yes, everybody is congratulating you. Kudos, and more kudos. That is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Jerlene said, I appreciate that, Shawnee. Yes, that's absolutely wonderful. So, again, we just need to be mindful of what we're doing. The balance is the key when it comes to the protein, when it comes to the fat, when it comes to the carbs. It's that balance. We don't want to overdo too much of anything, because too much of anything can be an error. Yes, Vanessa's saying that's amazing. Joseph Shawnee saying praise God. Yes, that is amazing. And that's, one of the things that this medication does, because mine immediately as well went down. And it wasn't super, super high. It was in the 6s, but I'm just grateful, as I know you are. As I know you are. Okay, so no soda, just drinking water. Not zero protein, but don't overload. Processed foods will get you every time, because why? Because they're high in sodium. Remember those old Weight Watcher meals? And it was another one, Lean Cuisine. Those meals were so high in sodium that it was ridiculous. And manage your blood sugar, especially on this journey. So we all know what to do. We all know what to do to help our systems. And let's see. I'm running through here and running back and forth through the chat. Yes, people are still congratulating you, Jerlene. That is amazing. Congratulations. And so I appreciate y'all being here. Again, just talking about how much protein should we take in, and check with your doctor to find out how much protein you should be checking in, and match that up with the carbs and the amount of fat that you intake, because that determines your macros. Okay. I'm getting ready to go into my fitness style real quick, and then I'm getting out the door. And I don't know that y'all will be able to see it. because my fitness pal has this new thing going on where they they did like a whole new thing with the app, but I guess it's more informative and it's right there so you don't have to look for it of what you so like today I've had breakfast and lunch, and my carbs are, let me see if I could show you what it should be. Yeah. Y'all probably not gonna be able to see that. Nope. Nope, y'all can't see that. Okay, there it is right there. So you can see my carbs are over. Okay, and my fat is under, and my protein, I'm almost there at my protein. So when Shawnee was saying that she is a macros person, this is to what I'm guessing. This is how this is what you go by. Okay, so when you look at that, like my carbs should be at 12. All of it has to equal 100%. My carbs should be at 25. My fat is at 40, which is high, and my protein is at 35. And keep in mind that on my fitness pal, you can set this up yourself. Okay, this is not you could get it not you could get your doctor to tell you what to put here, but you could absolutely set it and reset it. I could literally change my protein to 40% and change my fat to 35, but I definitely wanted my carbs to be the lowest. Okay, and then when you look at it here, now see that makes a difference, and I'm pointing this out because if you're following macros, that makes a difference from when you look at it, for me, from here. And when you look at it from here, this is showing how many grams I've actually used and how many I have left. So I've used up all my carbs for today. And then I have 71% fat to go. And then I have 140. Oh, wait, let me check this out. Let me say that again. This is what they do. So let me show you this. Y'all can see that. So I have 0 left on my carbs, and then it shows what I have left on my fat and on my protein. I have 55 left on the protein and 35 left on the fat. So that gives you different information from just looking at the macro percentages. I hope y'all understand what I'm trying to say. Because it just does. Like, oh, you only have 55 left. I should put this in a video so y'all can see it. But yeah, that's different than looking at that percentage. Because when I look at the percentage based on the macros, 25% is what I was supposed to use, and I'm at 37. That's different from saying, okay, well, you're supposed to get 100 grams of carbs, and you've used up all of that. You have no carbs left. All right, I'm on my way out the door. Let me jump over here real quick, see some final statements. Let's see. Yeah, canned food has lots of sodium also. Yeah, for me, frozen vegetables are much better. Protein shakes are also high in sodium. I was trying to figure out why my high blood pressure kept being high. Then I backtracked what I was eating. Then advised my doctor I was at one time drinking Premier Protein. Yes, that's the same thing I did, Linda. That's the same thing. I was like, I had to backtrack to see, okay, what am I eating? And the protein shakes, the core. I don't know how many that has, but man, I've been drinking those core. I really like those. And the Okios, I bought some of those. I only had one of those this week. And then I bought Impossible Meat, the chicken patties, the chicken nuggets, because I wasn't doing meat. It was just a lot of sodium. Shakes. So no more shakes or eating the bars. Oh, bars. And I love the Quest bars. I do. I don't know how much sodium is in those, but I'm definitely going to check. I'm going to check tonight because I just bought some more. And mind you, my inflammation it's gone down, but it has not completely gone down. For real. Let's see, 260 milligrams of sodium. Oh wow. In the core. In the core. So again, you have to figure that out. You have to balance that out. Um, I know I was reading somewhere and it said like if it says 20% of your daily, if an because when you think about 260 milligrams of sodium and your daily value or your daily average of sodium should be no more than 2300 milligrams, then 260 doesn't sound bad. But if 260 represents 20% or more of your daily value, then that's high for that item, allegedly. Okay, that is allegedly high for that item. And so you really have to do the numbers, pick, you really have to dig in. Like I said, it's science, it's math, all of this just to eat. you know, and for somebody like me who's been eating snacks and sweets and going to restaurants. Come on, y'all, Maggiano's for real. I can't even go to Maggiano's anymore. What can I get there that's low carb, low sodium? Come on. Yes, in the core elite shakes. Linda, I used to drink Premier every day. Now only twice a week. Okay. Yeah. So again, it's in moderation. Hey, Kitty K, how are you? So glad to have you in the building. Yeah. So it's all with moderation, guys. That's what it is. And of course, at the end of the day, checking with your doctors to make sure. I just wanted to, coming from my own experience, try to make people more aware of the kidney, the stress on kidneys, and the high amounts of protein, what that can do. And now we've brought in another component, the sodium, the diabetes, the hypertension. Oh my God, losing is great. Losing is great. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. Oh my gosh. Excellent conversation. Always stay in communication with our doctors. Our care should be guided and supported every step of the way. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for that super chat. I appreciate you so much. Y'all know my time is up. I'm heading out the door. I thank y'all for being here. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for all the dialogue. I so appreciate good dialogue. I really do. And so thank you for everybody being here. And I'm out the door. That's it. Low carb journey, low carb life with your low carb queen. And remember, every day is a new beginning. Bye-bye.